Welcome to First Church. My name is Brian. I get to serve as the adult team lead here at First Church, and we are so glad that you are joining us. We have a bunch of people joining us online right now. We've got Taylor and Tamara are on their way to band camp in Arkansas. Christina's in Tulsa. Rex and Sharon are in Broken Bow. Dee's in Hot Springs. And my buddy Michael and Carolyn are in California right now. And so if you're in the room with us, will you put your hands together, welcome in our online community today. We are in week number 2, as Matt just said, of our series we called MixTape. Today we're going to be in Psalm 139. If you want to go and get your Bibles ready, apps, whatever that looks like for you, Psalm 139, that's where we're going to spend some time today. I know Chad last week talked about, and we do this every year when we talk about this mixtape series, kind of talked about what a mixtape was. And he actually had a cassette tape out here, and he showed, the old school tape that you would set next to your, or put in your boombox, and you wait for your song to come on, and you'd hit that button, and you record it. And I remember, I'm kind of in that generation where I remember doing that growing up, but I also remember when CDs really kind of became the big thing. And then there was a time where people had the ability to make, like, instead of mix tapes, mix CDs. And now, growing up, we never had the technology to do that. Even when I went to college, my computer, my laptop wasn't able to do that. I had friends who were able to, but I was never able to do that. My brother, I was a sophomore in college. My brother was a freshman at the University of Missouri. And I remember when he called me one time and said, "Hey, you'll never guess what. I've got a buddy who can burn some CDs for us." And I was like, "This is awesome. Let's do it." So I sent him over a list of songs that I wanted on my CD that he was going to burn for me. And I remember just a few months later, actually, what I said to him at the end, I said, "I don't know how many songs you need, but if you need to fill it with something extra, just find something. We like the same type of music. Throw something on there. I trust you. It'll be great." A few months later, when we got back together for Christmas or Thanksgiving, whatever it was, he gave me my CD. I was pumped, and so I put it in my CD player when I was heading back to college. Had the 3 hours back to Joplin from my hometown, and I mean, I'm just singing every song. I mean, all my favorite tunes. I mean, I'm just one after another. And then a song came on, and at the moment, I didn't realize it was something that you could actually have on a CD or you could listen to. It was a theme song from a TV show, right? I knew all the words to these songs, but it just didn't really had it connected in my brain that those were actual songs back when TV shows had good songs to go with them. And so I remember that this song came on, I was like, "This is amazing. Like, I can sing every word to this song because I used to watch all these shows and I love it." So it was one of my favorite things that was on this CD. And so what I want to do as we kind of get going today is I want to see how many TV junkies we have in the audience today. And so we're going to do this. We're going to play a song, and if you know the song, go ahead and shout it out. It's fine, even while it's still going. And we'll see how many songs you can get. Some of them are pretty easy. Some of them maybe not so much. So here's the first one. Anybody? Someone's got it. Someone. Come on now. Growing Pains. Yes, yeah. Someone in the back. There it is. Thank you, Amanda. Well done. Yeah, Growing Pains. That was the one that was on the CD my brother made for me. I'll never forget. Growing Pains. I'll be like, "Oh, you can actually listen to this song. This is amazing." One of my favorite times, which shows you how much fun I had in my life. So it was great. Here's the next one. Check this one out. These are all like 80s and 90s because that's when I grew up. Anybody? No, that's not it. Who's the Boss? Well done. Yes, Who's the Boss? Tony Danza sliding into home plate, right? I mean, it was great. So yeah, one of my favorites. Now, let me just say this caveat on this one. If you get this one, we are going to become friends. I just want to let you know that. Like, I don't think many people will. I said this to Jake this week because we were in the office. I said, "I don't think you'll get this for the first note," and he nailed it. So we're friends. If you get it, we'll be friends as well. Listen to this one. If you know it, yes, say it loud. Alf, yes! I've got my Alf doll. It is one of my favorite shows growing up. Man, I used to love Alf. Yes, I used to love Alf. So much so that I still have this creepy thing, and my wife won't let it in the house, and so it'll stay in my office. And in first service, I forgot it, and she brought it to me for this one. So yeah, we'll let Christy know. Yeah, we're best friends now. Just so we'll meet me afterwards. So that's great. Yeah, Alf, what a great show. Yeah, so good. All right, these next ones are pretty easy. You'll get them. Sing along if you like. Go ahead and hit the next one. There it is. Yeah, you can. These are some bangers here. So let's. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, easy. Yeah, Golden Girls. That was easy. This was another easy one. Hit this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Laverne and Shirley. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta get to this part of the song. Yeah, Laverne and Shirley. Okay, now this one, we're gonna let it play out. You're gonna know it, I understand that, and I'm gonna let you have your moment, because if you're gonna wanna sing it, and it's gonna be great, it's fine, we'll let it go, but check this one out. Cheers, that's right. We'll get through this part, and then you can just have your time.
Everything you've
right?
got.
No one cares about this part.
Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away?
Here we go.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
There you go. Yeah, come on. Cheers. Cheers, fantastic. You guys are pretty good. I'm surprised. I'm surprised here. Hey, you know, the thing about the theme song from Cheers is it's iconic, not just because it's a catchy tune, right? We all like to sing it. It's a fun song to sing. We know the words. It's not just that, but I think it's also there's some truth in the lyrics. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Now, some of you may be saying right now, that's not true of me. I want to hide. I don't like people. I have like 6 friends and that's it. And I get that part of it as well. There's times in my life where I'm like that. But I think we also have this desire ingrained in us to be known. To be known, for people to know us. We want that ability for people to look at us and say, I know you, right? But also it can be scary to be known. When people actually know us, when they know like our deep secrets, our life, it can be scary because sometimes they can use that against us. We have to trust that people are gonna love us and they're gonna still be next to us no matter what's going on. In fact, I think some of the 3 scariest words that you could ever hear, depending on the tone, depending on the situation, are this: I know you. Because if someone says it in a menacing way or a dreadful way, maybe you've got a past, maybe you used to do things a certain way and now you're trying to be better, and you run into someone and they look at you and they say, oh, I know you. Like that's not good, right? We hate for people to think about us that way, but the opposite is true as well. If you run into somebody and maybe it's been a while and you're trying to figure out and it finally clicks and they say, oh, I know you. It's good to see you. That the opposite is changed. The opposite happens. Those words become a gift. You see, on some level, we all want to be known. We want to walk into a room and see a familiar face, to have someone recognize us. But in a world where we are more connected than ever, we find ourselves lonely. Because this is the reason why. We are connected, but we're not known. Those 2 things are totally different. We are connected, but we are not known. When I was in high school, my youth minister took a handful of us to a event for high schoolers at Ozark Christian College called Ambassadors Rally. They've changed the name of it to the event. I think we actually send students sometimes to that as well. And the Ambassadors Rally was designed to hang out, a bunch of high school schoolers to come onto campus to hang out. They had a speaker, a band, and on Friday night, all day Saturday was these sessions and classes and just a time. It really was a recruiting pitch to get kids on campus to maybe want to come to school there. And so at some point, youth ministers, especially youth ministers who were working at churches on weekends, started bringing some of their youth group kids who maybe were thinking about going into ministry. They started bringing them on Thursday night, and they would go to class Friday morning with their youth ministers to get a taste of what it was like to be a student at Ozark. And so my youth minister took a handful of us. I was probably a freshman or sophomore in high school. And we went to down on Thursday night, and on Friday morning, we found ourselves at 7 a.m. in a class called Biblical Archaeology. The guy who was teaching it was a guy by the name of Wilbur Fields. Now, some of you may recognize the name Wilbur Fields. A lot of you won't. He was a teacher at Ozark, professor at Ozark for 36 years. Taught thousands of students, also led numerous archaeological digs in the Holy Land over in Israel, wrote books on the Old Testament. I mean, just for me growing up, he was a giant in the faith. I remember I had heard about Wilbur. My dad was a student of Wilbur Fields, and so I had heard stories time and time again about this guy. I had never met him before, but I knew who he was. And we were in that classroom at 7 a.m. There was only a handful of students taking that class, and so there were the 4 or 5 high school students with my youth minister Jared. We're sitting in there, and Wilbur Fields, after he prays, he looks at Jared and he says this. He says, "Why don't you introduce or have your students introduce themselves?" And so we began to go down the line and introduce ourselves, and it got to me, and I said this. My name is Brian Champ, and he stopped. And Wilbur was this at that point was this old man who kind of was a little intimidating, but he was also like this grandpa figure. And he looked at me in just locked eyes with me, and he said, "Brian Champ, I know you." In that moment, you would like I won the lottery, because Wilbur Fields knew me. Now, here's the deal: he didn't really know me. He knew my dad, but he knew of me, and I thought, man, this is the best thing ever, because here's this guy who I have heard all of these stories of, and he knows me. Psalm 139 reminds us that we are fully known, and when we are fully known, we can live the life that God has for us. Before we dive in, let's get a little context of this psalm. The psalm is attributed to David, and while we don't know exactly what is going on in David's life at the moment he's writing the psalm, here's what we can know from it, is that he is in a difficult position. He's under attack. He needs help. And this is his honest conversation with God. The first 3 quarters of the psalm are him saying, "God, you know me. You know who I am. You know all the things about me, God." Now because of that, the last quarter, he's like, "God, I need you to do some things. I need you to help me out. It's going down, God. I need you to be there with me." He gets really honest at the end. As we read in Psalm 139, as we start things off, I want you to know this first to start with, that God knows you. God knows you. He knows all about you. In fact, this is what David says. "O Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord. You hem me in behind and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain." We serve a God who knows us. And in spite of knowing everything about us, he loves us anyway. And that's what David is saying here in this psalm. He's not just saying, "You know about me," or "God, you know of me." No, he's saying, "God, you know me. You've searched me. You know my habits. You know when I sit down, when I get up, you perceive my thoughts. God, you know when I'm going out, when I'm lying down. You're familiar with all of my ways. God, you know me." And in spite of all those things, all the things that I'm good at, all the things I'm bad at, God, you know me and you still love me. When I was in Bible college, I played basketball on the basketball team. It's not that impressive because you actually paid a credit hour to be on the team, and so not that big of a deal. But I love the game of basketball. I played in elementary all through high school, in college. I still love to watch basketball, go to games. Basketball is my thing. And I was decent. Now, again, not scholarship level. I like to think if I was born in a different era, I would have got a scholarship because in the internet era now, everyone gets a scholarship. But I wasn't that good at the time, but I was decent. I played some guys who were scholarship level players, and I held my own. It was when I graduated from Ozark after playing for 4 years. I thought pretty highly of myself as a player, and we moved to Enid, Oklahoma for our first youth ministry. Christy and I did. We didn't have kids. It was just the two of us. And so I heard that there was lots of good basketball happening at the YMCA during lunchtime. And so I got a membership at the Denny Price YMCA in Enid, Oklahoma, so I could go at lunch and I could play basketball with a bunch of guys. And I loved the idea that it was the Denny Price YMCA because his boys, he had two boys who played in the NBA, Mark Price and Brent Price. And Mark Price was one of my favorite players growing up. And so I was like, this is a cool thing that I'm at. Their dad has the YMCA named after him. I get to play there. It's awesome. And so I was having a great time. Everything was great. I was playing ball almost every day during lunch. One day I was in the gym, and a guy walked in that I recognized, which was interesting because I knew no one in Enid. Like Christy and I moved, we knew no one. We knew we got to know the preacher and his wife, but beyond that, we had no connection to the area. And so we'd been there a few weeks, maybe 2 months, and I'm getting to know people, but there's a lot of people I don't know. This guy walks in, I'm like, why do I know him? And it takes about a minute and a half. Finally, it dawns on me. I'm like, I know him because this is Brent Price. He is an NBA player. He had just retired from the NBA. This is what he's here. He's got free pass because it's his dad's YMCA, and so he gets to walk in and he's going to play. And I couldn't believe it. I'm going to be on the same floor as an NBA player. This is going to be amazing. Also, what went through my mind was I'm going to show him that I probably, because I lived in this small town in Northwest Missouri, I should have probably got a scholarship somewhere. I should have been playing in the NBA. And so I'm going to show this NBA player how good I am, and I could D him up. Spoiler alert: it didn't happen. He was amazing. I was awful. It was crazy. Anyway, but Brent began to play pickup ball. He had moved back after retiring from the NBA. Began to play pickup ball with us during the week at noon. And it was one of my favorite times. I'm like, I'm on the floor with the guy who played in the NBA. A few weeks after he started playing with us, I walked in a little bit late because I had something happen. I wasn't able to get there right at noon when the games were starting. Game was already going. Brent is sitting in a chair. And when I walked in, he said these words, "Champs on our team." And I was like, yes, I have arrived. I thought I was good. Now Brent is just confirming it because we have played together for 3 weeks now, and he knows all the things I'm good at. He knows all the things I'm bad at, and he still wants me on his team because he wants to win. He's a competitor. He knows if I'm on his team, we have a chance to win. Again, whoever was on Brent's team was going to win. It wasn't because of me. And so I had nothing to do with it, but we were going to win. So I had these thoughts, and I'm like, yes, I'm known. He knows the things I'm good at. He knows the things I'm bad at. And because of that, even though he knows me as a player, he still wants me on his team. I think I think all the time, God looks at us the same way. He knows your habits. He knows what happened last night, what happened last week. He knows the thoughts that have been in your mind. He knows the things you do and that you don't do, the things you said you're going to do, the things you don't. And he wants you on his team anyway. He loves you so much that he wants you on his team. See, we serve a God who knows us. Here's the second thing we know from this psalm. While we serve a God who knows us, we also serve a God that will never leave. Have you ever wanted to be anonymous? Like not like hide and seek hiding, not doing anything, like you haven't done anything wrong and you're hiding, but like I just want to slip in, slip out, check this thing out, no one recognize me, and then I can go on with my life. Maybe some of you have done that today. You've come to church and you thought, hey, I'm just going to slip in, no one's going to know me, and I'll hide in the back, and then I'll leave before the service is over. No one will see me. We've all been there. It's okay. I'm not calling you out. It's fine. About 7 years ago, I had interviewed for this position at First Church as a groups minister, and I thought the interviews had gone well, and so I thought I was going to get a job offer, and so I said to Christy, I said, hey, should we go check out this church? Like, we've never been there before. Should we go make sure that this is not like a crazy place or there's something going on that it's not quite right? And so we probably, this is before streaming, it was before we were online. And so I said, should we go check this out? We decided, hey, let's do it. So we picked a weekend in September, and we showed up, and we made a plan. Because it's two things. When you're in ministry, sometimes when you're trying to, if you're going to make a change in a job, you have to be careful because people get all kind of weird about it. And so we didn't tell anyone from our church that we were looking. We just told them we were taking a Sunday off. Christy's mom came up to watch our kids, so we could just kind of come in, slip out. It's going to be fine. I knew there were a couple families that had connections with the church that I was currently at that attended here. And so I thought, wow, they're more like first service type people. We'll go to second service. We'll show up right on time. They'll be done. They'll be gone, and it'll be perfect. We'll go and no one will see us. And so we executed the plan perfectly. We pulled in the parking lot at the right time. Parking lots, obviously people are leaving because service is over, and so we don't have to check in kids. We can just walk in. We can sit in the back of the auditorium. It's going to be great. We walked through the old front doors, and we were coming towards the gathering area, and who walks around the corner? One of the two couples that knows us and knows that we work at a different church, and they looked at us and they said, "What are you guys doing here?" Man, I wanted to leave so bad. I'd been caught, right? You ever been caught? You ever just wanted to hide and you can't hide? I made some excuse like, hey, we had an extra weekend. We thought we'd come check it out. They saw right through me. They knew what was going on. I just wanted to be anonymous. I wanted to hide and I couldn't. Have you ever been there? Have you ever just, for whatever reason, wanted to disappear for a moment and you found yourself being found instead? Psalm 139, verse 7, this is what David says, "Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me." Notice that, guide me. "Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you." See, David isn't saying this is like a scary thing, like God is lurking and God is just waiting in the wings in the darkness around every corner for you to mess up. No, he's saying, God, I can't get away from you. And even when I want to, even when I'm trying to go away, God, I can't get away from you. Even if I go to heaven, you're there. If I go to the depths, you're there. If in the dark, in the light, God, you are there. And he's saying it with this kind of weight that comes from knowing that even when we try to hide, God is still there waiting. Not with judgment, but he's waiting with love. That's why it talks about he's there to guide us. He's not there to smack us. He's there to be around us, to love us, waiting. Because we serve a God who knows us and a God who will never leave us. And here's the thing. I think this is an important truth here. He's always known you. That he knows you and he's never going to leave you, and because he's always known you from the very beginning. He has known you. In fact, that's what David says. He goes on in the psalm and says this, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." See, you're not an accident. You're not forgotten. You didn't just happen. From the very beginning, before even one of your days had come, God saw you. He knew you. He wrote you into his book. He knit you together with a purpose. He formed you in secret. Not one piece of you was hidden from him, and not one piece of you is hidden from him. Over the years of my ministry, I've talked with lots of people who wonder how God could possibly love them because of the things they've done, they've said, they've thought. Maybe you've been there. Maybe you're even saying that now, like, God, how can God love me? Like if he knew, which he does, and he still loves you, but if he knew, he wouldn't love me. We say that about people all the time, right? Because we hide really well in our world. Like we're here on a Sunday and we've got our nice clothes on and we're singing and everything's great. And then we put on a front sometimes, not everyone, but some of us do, right? We put on a front and then we go home and we live our life separate from God and separate from the church, and we kind of just do these things over here, and we keep coming back, and we don't want our friends or our church to know about this life. We don't want the people in this life to know we go to church, and so we kind of live this back and forth. And God says, hey, it doesn't matter. Like, I know you. I've known you from the very beginning. I know who you are. Maybe you felt like that. Maybe you felt like you're hiding, that God won't love you if he actually knew you. Maybe you're feeling that right now. David says this, God, you saw me when I was being formed. You knew me before I had a name, and you still knit me together with care. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. We serve a God who has always known us, who has always loved us, and always loved what he made. So what do we do with this? What do we do with this knowledge, this idea that God has always known us, he knows us, he won't leave us, he is always going to be there? What's our response to being fully known? Because here's the tension I think sometimes we wrestle with. It's this, that we want to know God, but we don't want to be known by him. Those are two separate things, right? We walk into a room like this, and we want to know God, the God that sent Jesus to the earth, and sent Jesus to die for our sins, and we want to know that God who did all this for us, but we're hesitant to allow him to fully know us because, that means I'm going to have to live differently maybe. That means I'm going to have to maybe figure out some things. And we've made this idea, we've come up with this idea in our own brains that it's one or the other. I'm going to know God, but God's not going to know me. And that's not the way it works at all. Because look what David says at the end of the psalm. He has spent 22 verses laying it all out. God knows him, God sees him, God formed him. God has never once looked away. And after all of that, you might expect him to close with this commitment of okay, I'm going to do this. God, here's a resolution, here's a plan. God, this is what I'm going to do differently because I know this now. I'm going to do this differently. And instead, that's not what he does. Instead, he just opens his hands to God. And he says this, search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me and lead me in the way everlasting. That's it. There's three things that this psalm teaches us about God and how our response to God is. And this is this. Search me, know me, lead me. That's what David says. He starts the psalm with it and he ends the psalm with it. Search me, know me, lead me. That's the whole response. Not a 5-step plan, not a promise to be better. Just God, you already know me. You already know all of me. So search me, find what needs to go, and lead me to be the person you have called me and made me to be. I've never heard one time in all my ministry and school and talking with people about spiritual and theological things, I've never heard anybody suggest that God is going to ask us at some point, why weren't you more like them? Why weren't you more like Chad? Why weren't you more like Matt? Why weren't you more like your favorite Sunday school teacher? Why weren't you more like this person? Why weren't you more like all of these people? But I've spent a lot of time watching people spend their whole lives trying to answer that question anyway. Comparing, performing, hiding the parts of themselves that they think don't measure up. Psalm 139 won't let us do that. God didn't knit someone else together when he made you. He didn't write someone else's days when he wrote yours. This psalm isn't vague, and that's on purpose. God knows you. Not the person you wish you were, not the version that's more put together or more impressive or less complicated. God knows you. He knows you fully, and he's not waiting for you to become someone else before he leads you. He's waiting for you to stop hiding so that he can lead you to be the person he's already made you to be. You are fully known. That's never the question. So what are we going to do with that? David ends like I said earlier, he ends the psalm as he began it. In the beginning, it says, you've searched me, O God, you know me. And I love at the end as he adds one extra thing. God, you searched me, you know me, and because you know me, lead me. Lead me. God is not waiting for you to figure it all out before he leads you and loves you and knows you. God knows you and he loves you and he's going to lead you regardless of who you've been or what you've done. So the only question left to answer is whether you allow yourself to be searched. Will you open your hands like David does and say, God, here I am. Search me, know me, and lead me. Let me pray. Father God, thank you for who you are, the way you've loved us. God, help us just to remember that we are fully known. Help us to find comfort in that. God, that you know us, and in spite of all the things you know about us, you still want us to be with you. Thank you for ordaining our days. Thank you for knitting us together with a purpose. And God, help us to approach you with open hands. God, we ask as we leave here today that you would know us, that you would search us, and that you would lead us. In the name of Jesus that I pray.